Well, hello, my name is Mark Squires. I'm the president of Wise Choices Financial, located in the Kansas City area. Welcome to your debt-free destination plan learning module. I hope you're excited about being here today. Here's what I want you to do. It's going to take about 40 minutes, maybe 42 if I get long-winded. Grab yourself something to drink, hot, cold, your choice, and something to write with and something to write on. And when we get done here, we will present you with an opportunity to have your own debt-free destination plan made just for you. We'll work on it together. Are you ready to get started? Well, like I said, my name is Mark Squires. I am the president here, and we got to get through our legal stuff, our disclosure. Here we go. Wise Choices Financial is an independent financial services firm that utilizes a variety of investment and insurance products. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management. That's AEWM. AEWM and Wise Choices Financial are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the insurance carrier. This presentation is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Wise Choices Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute or be construed as tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the United States government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wise Choices Financial. Here we go. Now we got that out of the way. Did you pay attention? Are you awake? Good. Hope you took that time to go get something to drink. So how does the debt-free destination plan work? More importantly, how does it work for you? Well, the first thing is we want you to learn how banks and credit card companies make their money. They're making money off of you. Let's teach you how they do it, and maybe you can learn to do it for yourself. Second, you need to know what you really owe. You're probably saying, Mark, I've added that up and I know what I owe. Do you really? Do you really? We're going to find out in just a minute. All right. Learn how to find and redirect inefficient dollars. Very, very important. We all have them. Now, folks, we're not talking about taking draconian cuts to your lifestyle. We're not talking about trading miles on your car to deliver pizza boxes or anything like that. We're just learning how to find inefficient dollars and redirecting them for your financial future. I hope that makes sense. It will in a minute. We will work together to build your debt-free destination plan. We know how to do it. We want to teach you how to do it. And finally, we're going to teach you how to use your money your way with total flexibility. How does that sound? I kind of like that idea. And I can tell you, my wife and I have been on the debt-free destination plan for over a year, and it's working fantastically for us. Hey, when you meet me, ask me how it's going. Fair enough? All right, now let's get into the nitty-gritty. A shocking number, and I mean shocking number of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Of the Americans earning less than $50,000 per year per household, 62% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. By the way, you can find our resources on the last page of this webinar. Now you think, well, 50,000 is not very much. What about people who make more money? Well, households that are in the $50,000 to $150,000 range, 33% or 1/3 of those households are living paycheck to paycheck. You're like, oh, Mark, but yeah, what about those rich people? Those people have all kinds of money. They're going to be okay. Really? Take a look at this. That number is astounding to me. Of households earning $150,000 or more, still 1/4 of them are living paycheck to paycheck. Like I said, see our resources slide to get more information. So the average American family, let's talk about the average American family. They're making about $68,000 a year, maybe a little bit more, closer to 69. Well, they get to spend about 26% of every dollar they earn on their lifestyle, just Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday lifestyle. About 29% of every dollar they earn is going out in interest. Now, I want to point out that in prior years, this number was considerably higher. At one point, it was upwards of 34%. But people have been paying down debt. Now, I would love to tell you it's all because of us. Partially it is, but there's other ways out there too. Okay, we're going to find the way that's best for you. But 29 cents of every dollar, just think of that. 1/4 and 4 pennies out of every dollar you earn is going out the door in interest. 43% of their income is spent on taxes. Now, that's all forms of taxes, okay? That's your income tax, your Medicare tax, your Social Security tax, your local income tax, sales tax, highway use tax, I could go on and on and on. We pay a lot of tax. Have you looked at your cell phone bill lately? Yeah, you're paying some tax. And then finally, about 2% of the income they have left to invest in savings. And look at that number. Look at that number. If you're not shocked, you should be. The average American household debt is over $330,000. And that is not good. Now, this is what happens for the average family with the debt-free destination plan approach. That 26% of lifestyle goes up to 33%. We get the interest to below 22%, and eventually that goes lower and lower and lower until eventually it's like 4. Okay. Their tax burden actually gets lowered to about 30%, and they're able to free up 15% of every dollar they earn for savings. Can you imagine that, being able to put 15% of what you make into savings for both goals today and retirement? It sounds like a good idea. Now, I want you to understand, this is no one size fits all. Look at these hands. It's hard for me to buy gloves. Okay, there is no such thing as one size fits all in the world of what I do. Everybody's case is different, and these numbers do vary on a case-by-case basis. We will find out how they look for you. So let's talk about the average American family. All right, average American family lifestyle, they get to spend about $17,800 on lifestyle. Interest, $19,000. Do you see those numbers? Do you see how different they are? Almost $20,000 going out the door in interest, about $29,500 at the door in taxes, and a whole whopping $1,300 for savings. Now that's based on the U.S. household average income of $68,703. I don't know. The debt-free destination plan approach. This is what it looks like for our DFDP people. Soon you're going to be one of those. $22,671 out. That's what they're spending on lifestyle. That's a lot more. Interest is down to $15,000 and dropping every year. Taxes drop down to about $20,000, and savings drops down to about $10,000. Or not drops down, goes up to about $10,300. It's amazing to me. Again, that's based on the average household income in the United States, $68,703. So let's get into it. What is step one? Step one is, how do the banks and credit card companies make their money? This is going to shock you. Seriously, pay attention, okay? So a bank is a business. That's right, a bank is a business. Now, how would you like to be like the bank? Here's how it works. Let's say you go down to the bank tomorrow and you put $10,000 in there in a savings account, okay? That's nice. And how much are they going to give you in interest? I heard you laugh. If they really love you, I mean, they really, really like you, they're going to give you 1%. And you and I both know that's not a real number, but we're going to use that for easy math, okay? 1% is what they're going to give you. So you're laying in bed overnight and you're thinking, I think I'm going to borrow my money. I don't want to take it out. I just want to borrow it. Okay. So you go down to the bank the next day and say, you know what? I'd like to use that $10,000 for collateral, and I want to get a loan. Well, what interest rate are they going to charge you? Well, the first question they're going to ask is, what you're going to do with the money? And then based on that and your credit score, and you do have a credit score and should pay attention to it, they might charge you 9 or 8 or 15 or 14. I don't know, because I don't know you and I don't know why you're borrowing the money, but it's all over the board. But here's the bottom line. They're paying you 1, and the very next day, they're going to charge you upwards of 15%, maybe more, to borrow your money from them. This is a good deal for the bank, isn't it? Well, how'd you like to be like the bank? We'll teach you how to do that. All right. So this is all based on what Albert Einstein called the miracle, the 8th wonder of the world, the miracle of compound interest. Okay, let's take a look at it graphically. Let's start with $10,000, and hypothetically, in this scenario, you're making 5% interest. So at the end of 1 year, your $10,000 made $500. What did you do? All you did was put $10,000 in an account that made 5%. Your money worked for you. While you were sleeping, while you were having fun, doing life, your money made $500. You left it in there. You left it in there to continue to grow. And at the end of year 2, your $10,500 made another $525 while you were sleeping and eating and enjoying life. And then in year 3, you left it in there. Why? Because you're smart. That's why. And at the end of that 3rd year, your money made another $551.25. So at the beginning of year 4, with you doing nothing more than just plopping 10 grand in the bank or into an account, your money's up to 11,576. And if you go on and on and on, you can see how that grows and grows and grows. It's called compound interest. Now, did you know compound interest works in reverse? It does. Let's learn. So let's talk about, you put $10,000 charge on a credit card, and the average American credit card interest is 17.87%. So we're using that number. Okay, that goes up and down. I know you might know, Mark, I've got a credit card that's only 2.99%. Okay, that's fine. We're going with the US averages here. So average person puts 10,000 on a credit card. At the end of the first year, their balance is $11,787. But they made some payments on it. They made about $200 a month payment on it. And so that balance went down a little bit. But at the end of the second year, at that 17.87%, the balance, look at that. They paid $1,677 in interest added to that card. So the balance is $11,064. And again, you look at the third year. Yeah, we paid it down. We did. But we still have another $1,500 in interest, and in the year 4, another $1,300. And at the end of 4 years, you managed to pay a whopping $800 against your balance, your original balance. Okay. Again, that was a $10,000 starting balance, $200 in monthly payments, 4 years of payments, total interest paid over that 4 years. Do you see that number down there? Yeah, look at that. $6,400. Now, who's in better shape in this case? You? No, you gave the bank or the credit card company $6,400 of your money, $6,400 of your blood, sweat, and tears. Does this sound like a good idea? It is for the credit card companies. And look, you get probably 4 offers in the mail every week for 0 interest, balance transfer. I got one the other day. It was the black card. I have no idea, but it was telling me that it's made of metal and it's really heavy. It weighs 22 grams or something. I don't know. It's like, what? It's a credit card. Now, I'm not against credit cards, folks. You have to have one. Just try to rent a car while you're on the road. You do need a credit card, but you don't need to spend $450 for the black card. I don't even know what that was. Something from MasterCard, I think. So step 2 is to know what you really owe. And this is a kicker. I mean, I'm telling you, people really get concerned when we go through this part. Okay. So average American household, here we are again. Is that you? Total assets at the age of 65. You're probably thinking it's a lot. Now, we're not including a personal residence. We're talking about cash assets. So the average American household is going to earn about $2 million of income in their lifetime. You're like, oh, yeah, right, Mark. I'm below average. Well, really? Well, think about that. If you start working at age 20, 21, and you're making $20,000 a year, and you work for 50 years, so 21 to 71, that's not unreasonable. You will have earned $1 million. Well, most people aren't making 20. They're making 30, 40, 50. So 50,000 a year at 20 years is $1 million. Husband and wife, or however you do your household, that adds up to $2 million. So after $2 million of earnings, the average American household has cash assets that have 65 of $34,000. Is that the American dream they sold you? It's not the one they sold me. Okay. This is not good. We need to flip that. So where do you start? You got to know what you really owe, and you got to know where your money goes. Hey, that was a poem. I'm pretty good at that. So we've developed the budget tracker for you. It's simple, and you get one for free. No cost and no obligation. I'm not supposed to say free. So we get the budget tracker. It even has little budget categories there at the bottom: housing, groceries, eating out, so on and so forth. All right. This is not a guilt trip. This is simply a way of you logging where you spent your money. At the end of the day, we have one client. When he started out, he actually carried one of these with him in his pocket. And every time he spent anything, if he stopped a Quick Trip to get, oh, you don't know what a Quick Trip is? Well, if you don't live where there's a Quick Trip, I feel very sorry for you. He stops a Quick Trip to get himself an iced tea, and he writes down, $1.68 for iced tea or whatever it was. Some people do it at the end of the day. Some people do it at the end of the week. Number 2 is to know where your money goes. You have the budget tracker. You look for ways to save money to be more efficient. All right. Again, we're not talking about stopping life. All right. We're not talking about canceling your internet because you need the internet. We're not talking about getting a flip phone. Well, maybe you want a flip phone. I don't know. The other thing we've done is we have worked with a company called Calendar Budget. Calendar Budget, we have found through our research to be one of the most efficient and easy to use budgeting apps for your phone. Anyway, so Calendar Budget, we have worked with them to provide you with 1 month of usage at no charge to you. And we're going to show you a way that you can get a second month of usage absolutely free, no cost, no obligation. We're going to show you how to do that toward the end here. But we love Calendar Budget. It's a fantastic program. You need to get it and you need to learn to use it. And you'll be amazed at what you can do with Calendar Budget. All right. Again, budget tracker is no cost to you, no obligation. 1 month of Calendar Budget at no cost and no obligation. And there's a way for you to get a second month at no cost and no obligation. You have to know where your money goes. If you control your money, you're going to be in good shape. But I'll tell you this, if you don't control your money will control you. That's a promise. Look around. You've seen it happen. Okay. Next step is to plan for the expected and the unexpected. And this is where a lot of programs really miss out. Okay. Because they forget that you're human. You're not a robot. All right. So here's the deal. The 80-20 rule when it comes to money. About 80% of your money is going to be used for your long-term goals. All right. And part of your long-term goals is living. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I want to live too. All right. So, but what about that other 20%? You're looking at that graph, you're like, well, what is it? We set that aside for emergency and emotional expenses. So here's the thing. You have to have an emergency fund. No doubt about it. There are popular people out there, popular programs that tell you, you need a $1,000 emergency fund. Really? They haven't had to do brakes on their car lately. They haven't had to replace a water heater in their house. You can't do either one. You can't for $1,000. Our recommendation is your starting point for the emergency fund is $1,500, and then you set aside 1% of every dollar you earn until that reaches $5,000. But there's also emotional expenses, and this is what trips people up. Look, back in the 1980s, yes, I'm that old, I remember making an emotional purchase for $200, and boy, did it cost me. You know why? Because I hadn't planned for that emotional purchase. What was the emotional purchase? I know you're asking, right? A VCR. A what? That's right, a VCR. Anyway, we planned for this. You have a really, really, really rough day at work. I mean, it was a rough day, and you're on the way home and you see the Dairy Queen and you think, man, a peanut butter parfait with extra peanuts would be really, really good. But oh man, I'm trying to get out of debt. We plan for those emotional expenses. It's okay. You have to live life, and sometimes life is stressful. Step number 3, all right, redirect your inefficient dollars. Look, they're out there, and we're going to show you how to find them. The inefficient dollars are the ones that are going to work for you to get you to the place of being debt-free. Again, let's look at a typical American family. This case is actually based on one of our clients. Okay, we're going to call them Jack and Diane. Not their real name. Anyway, and that's really not their picture. So Jack is age 31. Diane was 29. They wanted to retire at age 62. They had 2 kids, no college savings. The kids were 2 years old and 4 years old. Jack was making about $3,100 a month. Diane was making about $3,900 a month. And they wanted to have a retirement income of about $5,000 a month over and above Social Security. Social Security will be there when you get there. It's not going to look like Grandma and Grandpa's Social Security, but it will be there, right? At least that's my opinion. But they wanted about $5,000 of income. Their main areas of interest or concern were increase their retirement income, reduce their debt now, get their spending under control. Remember, if you control your money, it works for you. If you don't control your money, it will control you. They wanted to save some for the kids for college, and they wanted to increase their savings. All right, not too bad. So savings and investments, they had a little bit. They had down at Bank of America, they had an emergency fund, and I applaud them. Good job. A lot of people come to us with no emergency fund, and your credit card is not your emergency fund. Okay, they actually had about $600 a month saved up for emergencies, putting $25 a month in it, making a whopping 1/4%. And then I think it was Diane had the Fidelity 401k through her employer. She had put about $50,000 in there. She was putting $300 a month in and making an average of about 5% interest. Not too bad. Okay, that was above average for some of the stuff we see. Their current debt had a Visa card at 12% with a $460 balance, making a payment of $55. Medical debt was 0%, $2,400, making $200 a month payment. Their credit card, they had, I think it was a Discover, 16% interest, $4,200, balance, $296 a month payment. They had a furniture loan for $59.88. I don't know why it was 14%, but it was. $237 monthly payment. They had a car loan at 4%. They owed $23,000 on it. Payment was $417. And then their mortgage, they had a nice little house, 4.9%. They owed $180,000 on it. Their principal and interest, that $972 was just principal and interest. So their average interest rate across all lines was 8%. Their total debt was $216,104. And they were making monthly payments of about $2,177. So let's look and see what that really looks like. Their debt summary, okay? Their total debt, $216,000. They were going to pay on their payments. If they added no other debt to it, they were going to pay for 28.9 years, and they were going to pay out $160,000 in interest. So that means their real debt, their $216,000 plus that $160,000, their real debt was $376,000. And I remember the look on Diane's face. They had no idea what they really owed was almost $400,000. Again, their current retirement plan, $50,000 in retirement savings. They were, at this point, we were talking about what does retirement look like. She was putting in $300 a month. They were making about 5% average. Currently, they'd be in the 22% income bracket. The retirement account at the end of a 30-year saving period was about $408,000. Not too shabby. That was pretty decent. But do you know anything about retirement accounts like 401ks? Well, when you take money out, you have to do what? You have to pay taxes. In fact, if you don't take any money out, at the age of 72 under the current law, you have to start taking money out and paying taxes. So after taxes, they only had about $306,000 to live in retirement. Does that sound exciting? Well, it's better than nothing, I suppose. So let's take a look at what Jack and Diane were able to accomplish on the debt-free destination plan powered by Your Family Bank. All right, we had them free from lenders in 9.4 years. That included their house. If we take the mortgage out of the equation, they were out of debt with the exception of the mortgage in 2.3 years. We saved them a total of $81,905 in interest. That's almost $82,000 in interest they didn't have to pay. What would you do with $82,000? Freed up $2,177 a month for retirement and other savings. So if they just invested that at 5% interest per year, compounded, remember compounding interest, it was going to add up to $1.2 million. That was Jack and Diane. You're going to be different. I don't know if that number is as big, if it's smaller, I have no idea. And the results are based on case-by-case basis. This is just one particular case that we're discussing here. Current strategy, they stayed on their current plan, doing things, everything, changed nothing. They were going to have about $306,000 of retirement. With the debt-free destination plan strategy, $1.2 million. I mean, this isn't rocket science, folks. Which one looks better to you? Right, I agree. So let's just ask the question, what if Jack and Diane saw all this and said, nah, not for us. We don't believe it works. Well, on plan, they were going to have $1.2 million for retirement. They were going to save $81,000, almost $82,000 in interest. Now they were going to have $306,000 anyway, just doing what they were doing, which is good for them. But the bottom line is they were going to give up $1 million of benefits. Can you afford to give up $1 million in benefits over the next 30 years? No, you can't. Maybe you can't. I don't know. You're different. Okay. Step 4, we work together to build your debt-free destination plan. Look, it's not all us and it's not all you. Look, we're going to help you. We're going to walk the journey with you. We're going to take the numbers you give us, put them into our little software. We're going to give you the report and the plan, step by step by step of how you do this. All right. But we're going to work with you. We're going to walk the journey with you. You are not alone. Okay. So it's the second quarter of 2021 as I'm recording this. And I bet most people would agree that our nation is somewhat divided. But here's the thing, if I ask one question, if I put a whole bunch of people in a room and I ask one question, I bet I can get everybody into agreement. And that is, over the next 5 years, do you believe taxes are going to be higher, they're going to be lower, or are they going to stay about the same? Huh. I heard you. Yep. 100% of people say, oh, they're going to be higher. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. People always say taxes are going to be higher. They're not going to be lower. They may say the same, but I can tell you this, under the current tax code, if Congress does nothing, and they're good at that, but under the current tax code, taxes will go up at the end of 2025. That's the way it's set up. Now, do you really think Congress is going to leave your taxes alone? No, they're not going to leave it alone. They need the money. Okay. So if we really believe taxes are going to be higher, is postponing paying your taxes really a good idea? You're like, Mark, what are you talking about? I got to pay my taxes. Well, let's take a look. So I'm going to make a business proposal. Are you ready? Pay attention, because you might want to get in on this deal. Okay. You're going to come up with the startup money, and you're going to take all the risk, and you're going to work this business day by day by day. And 30 years later, I'm going to show up and I'm going to tell you how much you owe me. Does that sound like a good idea? You want to go into business with me? Who wants to sign up right now? Of course you don't, but did you know you're doing it? That's exactly what deferred taxes are. IRAs, 401ks, and folks, I'm not against those. What I'm against is people not understanding how they're investing. So let's just look at the math. Okay, these are our assumptions. We're going to start with a one-time $5,000 IRA contribution, and we're going to have a hypothetical tax bracket, because we all believe taxes are going to go up, a hypothetical future tax bracket of 25%. Got that? And we're going to use the rule of 72. So the rule of 72 says that if I take my interest rate and divide it into 72, it tells me how long it's going to take for my money to double. All right. So again, this is for illustrative purposes. This is not real numbers. This is not based on any real case. Okay. But we're going to use an assumed growth rate of 10%. So at age 45, you put $5,000 into your tax deferred retirement account, your IRA. Right. And how much are you going to save on taxes? Well, you're in 25% tax bracket. Simple math says you're saving $1,250. What are you going to do with that $1,250? You're going to save it? Probably not, because that's actually incremental. We don't really see it in a form of chunk of cash, right? But rule of 72, let's pretend that we did invest that $1,250. So at the end of 7 years, when you're 52, your $5,000 has magically grown to 10, and your $1,250 grew to $2,500. At age 59, 7 years later, your 10,000 became 20,000. That's that compound interest. See how it works? Okay. And your tax savings, because we put that in another account, is worth $5,000. And age 66, you're about ready to retire. Your 5,000 turned to 10, turned to 20, all the way to $40,000. And your tax savings account that you put away went from $1,250 to 25 to 5 to $10,000. So you retire, you take out your $40,000, and you have to pay $10,000 in taxes. Look at that. My money grew to 40. My tax money grew to 10, but I had to pay $10,000. Where's the tax savings? I don't see it. Oh, and by the way, who controls the tax brackets and the tax rates? The government. Those can go up even higher. Okay, let me ask you a question. If we took those same exact numbers that we just did, right, and we put them into, we chose to put them into an account that was a taxed account, just like a regular 1099 account, or we put them in a tax deferred account, or we put it in a tax favored account. Tax favored meaning later you don't have to pay taxes on it. Okay, in the taxed account, I got $41,000 after 28 years. We've got a little bit different number here. I got 49,000 or 66,000. That's a $10,000 investment, 28 years, 7% interest in a 25% tax bracket. Which one looks better to you? I'd ask you if it's red, green, or yellow, but you might be colorblind. So which number looks better to you? Would you rather have 66, 49, or 41? Choose life. Pretty simple. Okay, next thing is let's talk about risk. What risks are there to your money? Well, number one is taxes. We just talked about that. Number two is market risk. Sometimes the market goes up, sometimes the market goes down. Okay, inflation. We have an entire generation alive today who has no idea what inflation is. My generation, we actually saw gas prices go from 49 cents a gallon to 99 cents a gallon. Yeah, I'm that old, but they did that in less than a year. I remember buying my first house, and I worked really hard to get my credit score up. My interest rate was 10.5%, and I thought I was cool. There are people who are paying 16% interest to buy a house. That's right. Now take a look at what your homeowner's interest rate is. I'm telling you, inflation is coming and you're going to learn about it. Emergencies. We talked about that emergency fund. Let me ask you a trick question. What's your most valuable asset? Is it your house? Is it your 401k? Is it your Xbox? I don't know. I do know what your most valuable asset is, really. It's your ability to earn an income. And if you suddenly become disabled and can no longer earn an income, you have trouble. You could be sued by somebody. I remember once telling an attorney friend of mine that I didn't want to get sued. He said, you can't keep yourself from being sued. Anybody can file a lawsuit against you. Fraud, boy, we hear all about that in the news, don't we? What about outliving your money? That's the number one concern of people who retire is, will I live longer than my money lasts? And then last risk is death. Now, I know you're like, yeah, but everybody died. Yep, you're right. Everybody gets a turn, one per person per lifetime. That's how it works. But what if you die too soon? What if you pass away next week? Is your family going to be able to replace your income if you can't go to work? Death is also a risk, and we need to plan for that. That's a big part of this. So the debt-free destination plan benefits. Number one is, I read a story, and I don't think we have this cited in here, but I read a story on Focus on the Family about a year ago that said, what was it, 75% of all households argue at least twice about money per week. Twice per week they argue about money. Well, and I guess if that's 2 days a week, the other 5, they aren't speaking to each other. I don't know. But you will argue less about money because you will have a plan. You'll be controlling your money, so your money doesn't control you. You're going to find wasted money and redirect it for your future. You're going to improve your cash flow, dramatically increase your savings, and you're going to get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible. And you're going to learn how to prioritize your accounts. You know, if you have, like Jack and Diane had 6 or 7 different debt accounts, well, how do you pay them off? You know, there's all kinds of, John Commuta says, pay them off in the highest interest rate order. The guy on the radio says, pay them off in the lowest balance. Which way's right for you? Well, our software shows you how to do that, exactly how to do that, and do it efficiently. Learn how to prioritize those accounts, and then learn to retire with tax efficient income. I'm telling you, if you think about being retired and you take $10,000 out of the bank and you got to spend $2,500 in taxes, you can only spend $7,500. But if it's tax efficient and you take $10,000 out, you still get to spend $10,000. Right? Makes sense? Let's go to step 5. Step 5 is use your money your way with total flexibility. Now let's take a review here. Remember Jack and Diane, their debt summary, they had $216,000 in debt, but when we added in the interest over 30 years, almost 30 years, they were going to pay out $376,000. And we were going to save them, let's see here, if I can remember, is $80,000 in interest. Had them free from their lenders in 9.4 years. If we just put the mortgage on the side, we had them completely out of debt besides their mortgage in 2.3 years. Saved them $81,000 in interest. And that's what we're talking about. That almost $82,000 is freed up money that you get to use your way, for you, for your benefit, for your children's benefit, for whatever. If you want to give it away for charity, you can use it. It's not going out the door in interest. It gives you more flexibility with your money. We freed up $2,177 a month to put into retirement and other financial goals. And based on tax savings and total savings and interest rates compounding over 30 years, that was worth about $1.2 million. Now I want to pause here for a second. I understand that Jack and Diane did not drive the same car for 30 years. Okay, I get it. I understand that things come up in life and Jack and Diane had to make some other purchases. I can't possibly in this short webinar cover everything, every scenario that might happen to everybody in life. I get it. What we plan for that in our 80-20. Remember the 80-20. Okay. Now let's look at Jack and Diane. They get to retirement and this is what they look at every day. Is that what you'd like to look at every day? Isn't that nice? Isn't that beautiful? That's what the debt-free destination plan does for people. Maybe you don't want to live on a beach, on a hillside, looking out over a beautiful ocean. I don't know what you want to do in retirement. Maybe you want to ride a motorcycle across the country. Maybe you want to travel the world. Who knows? But when most people see this, when they see with Jack and Diane, what they were able to accomplish, they immediately decide they want to be just like Jack and Diane. Is that you? Does that include you? Do you want to start moving toward your financial future? Well, again, one more quick review. All right. Step 1, How do banks and credit card companies make their money? You want to be like the banks and the credit card companies. Number two, okay, know what you really owe. Step three is redirect those inefficient dollars, and they're out there. Step four, we work with you to build your debt-free destination plan together. And of course, step five is to use your money your way with total flexibility. That's the debt-free destination plan. And there's the bonus step. You were waiting for it, weren't you? Step six, you gotta make a decision. That's it. It's that simple. You have to make a decision. Listen, every year people come up with their goals. We call them resolutions, and it's in January. And every year people say, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to get a college degree. And then they suddenly learn that a goal without a plan is just a wish. Stop wishing. We need to put a plan together, and we are going to help you. Here's your first decision. This is your first step. Okay. Set up your no cost, no obligation review visit before you leave this webinar. It's real simple. Okay. I think there's a link coming up that you can do that. Set it up. It's not going to cost you anything. We're not going to twist your arm, sit on you, try to get you to buy something in that meeting. We're going to use your numbers with our software, and we're going to show you how this plan works for you. And by the way, the debt-free destination plan is very flexible. You can do some of it, all of it, or none of it. If you choose not to, that's fine. We're not going to get mad at you, is what it is. But if you don't ask, the answer is automatically no. So take a look at it. Schedule your no cost, no obligation review. It's that simple. Now, I know you're interested. I can tell you're interested. I can feel it through this camera. Here's the thing. There's this thing called the Law of Diminishing In. And this is what gets people on their New Year's resolutions and so many other things. Okay. You watch this, you're like, man, this makes sense. Those numbers look good. I want to do this. I want to learn more. I want to set my appointment, but I don't have my calendar with me. So I'll have to call them tomorrow. Okay. Or call them next week. All right. I get it. But you're ready to go. All right. But between now and your future is this thing called someday. And what people do, and I've done it myself, man, I'm ready to go. I've got to do something. This is important. Or you even go so far as to set your review up, but then life happens. Life gets in the way, and you realize that you have to go to Texas for your cousin's wedding. I don't know what it is. These are the stories I've heard and you decide you're going to delay it. And what happens over a very short period of time? Your interest, your concern, your desire to take action and get to the point of financial freedom does this. And you don't want it to do that. Here's my advice when it comes to the law of diminishing intent. Don't take action. Okay? Don't let this happen to you. Take action. All right. I've got one final question for you. Real simple. If my team and I, Debt-Free Destination Plan, can show you a plan that makes sense to you, custom made for you, it checks all the right boxes, and you understand that you're redirecting your own dollars for your own future, and you're okay with that, and it makes your life not just a little bit better, but a lot better. Are you ready to make some financial changes? Yes or no? Now's the time. And we want to make it easy for you. No cost, no obligation review of your situation. By the way, there's our resources screen. If you want a copy of this, just reach out and say, I'd like to see that resources screen, and they can send it to you. Fair enough? Okay. My invitation to you, and we're about to the end here. You've seen the numbers. You've seen how it works for Jack and Diane. You know it's going to work for you. You understand now is the time to take action. I'm personally inviting you to join the movement to get debt-free. Okay. You can find us on Twitter. You can find Instagram. What is that? YouTube, Facebook. We're out there, folks. Okay. We're at 4731 South Cochise Drive in Independence, Missouri. You can call us or text us at 816-841-9141. Check us out. Oh, you can email us, team@wcf-kc.com. Debtfreedestination.net is one of our websites, and WCF-KC is the other one. Thank you so much. Again, my invitation to you is, look, don't wait around for this. Don't think about it. Take action. Reach out to us right now. Schedule your no cost, no obligation review, and join the movement. My name is Mark Squires. Thanks for watching this webinar. I hope to talk to you soon. Bye now.